I did want to get into your coaching journey, right? Like, why did you get into it? How did you get into it? We know you were always a coach, right?
First, Coach Hamilton camp.
Yeah, I was 5. We used to have Coach Hamilton basketball camp.
You got to actually make that a thing now. You know that, right?
We should have a
Can
shirt.
you do that? Like, can you call the Coach Hamilton camp, even though it's like VA?
Yeah, like the Stu Vetter has his own, the Stu Vetter camp.
Yeah, I'm actually, so that's kind of a good plug. We'll be having the camp the last week of July at Virginia Academy.
So it'll be at Virginia Academy?
Yeah,
okay.
Will be. So it'll be the last week of July. I think it's the 24th to the 28th.
He's the only guy I know, him and I think Jordan, who bought the Madden coaching game. You could not play. You couldn't play as a player.
Yo,
you literally the whole game. You have a headset on the sideline, and you're watching the game. And Walt.
That's crazy.
So this is a side note.
That's funny.
I used to hate playing against Walt in Madden. This dude Walt is.
It was good times, man.
This dude Walt is doing 14 audibles.
11 hot routes.
You do an audible. He's audible, and I'm like, come on, man. But anyways, we always knew he was a coach. But like, what made you want to coach, like for real? And then how did you get your start? And then kind of like go into your
progression.
Your progression to where you are today.
I think I would say it started with.
Probably with us, right?
Well, yes and no. So I say probably with my first coach, which was Dad. He was one of my first coaches in baseball, and just kind of seeing that kind of like that development, like that bond that we had, even in my first experience playing organized sports from T-ball, and then. When he was my coach on our baseball team, we played majors in Centerville. So majors is where you got to like actually have like kid pitching.
Right.
All right. So that was opportunity to kind of grow and develop, and like it's crazy, man. Like just the kind of the hard work and dedication that he put into not only myself but into other kids that wanted to get better. And every team that is kind of interesting. Every team that Dad coached. We went to the championship.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an underrated coach. Remember how he coached? He coached my JV summer league team at Hoop Magic.
Yo, that's hilarious.
We never lost. Dog.
He was assistant to when we played first year. We played organized, right?
Yeah, the coach. Yeah. We didn't lose that whole JV summer league. Every time he coached, we won the champion. Yeah,
that guy.
Shout out to Dad, man.
I gotta play the drop, man.
But there are others.
I mean, but you have to think about it. He's a very underrated.
We're not putting the work in.
We're
not clocking in, so that we can do what God is calling us to do.
That's actually like how Dad was sounding in the speech, though.
Yeah, so and that's motivating to people. Like it's inspiring. And he's as much as he motivates and inspires so many other people, I think sometimes we take it for granted because he's our dad. But I would definitely say he kind of sparked that. Then me being the oldest of 5, right? So being the oldest of you all and kind of being like the lead.
You're a second father for real.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of prepared me.
Especially to us, because we're much younger than you.
Yeah, I'm 9 years younger.
No disrespect, but
But it was cool, kind of seeing you guys grow up, man, and being able to kind of impart wisdom and like I don't know, man. Like I was such a sports junkie. Like I used to love. Honestly, I used to love listening to the commentators.
Yep.
And that's how I got better as a basketball player. Because I was in baseball, but in order to kind of catch up, some guards, I would take what they would say and I would apply it. Especially when you have your color commentator, then you have the analyst.
Right.
Right. So the analyst was either like Hubie Brown.
Hubie was my guy.
Or Coach Doug Collins.
Yep.
Even when Steve, those guys, they did a great job of going through even with Dickie V.
I was gonna say
Jay Billis. Jay Billis is a real good one.
Jay Billis, they do a really good job of teaching you the game
Yeah.
like while you're watching, so you understand like certain concepts that you could apply. A lot of kids. That's another reason when I talk to kids. Do y'all actually listen to the commentators?
Do they actually watch basketball?
Well, on
But
the girl
they
side,
help you understand the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
And that's the
they
thing.
do.
Situational awareness is that's one of the number one issues.
That's the king of it, man.
Yeah,
I didn't learn any of that. Playing basketball with you guys, I didn't learn any of that until I was around Walter.
Yep.
Walter's like, you gotta understand like what's going on.
Right, situational awareness, because we were talking about training and how these kids know, certain moves and how we only really focus on offense usually as trainers, but they don't really explain why and when to do that move. Right, so you have a bunch of kids, boom, 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 not going nowhere, but again, people like you who know the game can say, all right, when you have a step on him and he's leaning, that's when you pull back because he's leaning, right? Like just stuff like that, like little things like that. Things you taught us, right? It's because you know the game. You don't just know how to do the move. There's a big difference. And
I played I'm gonna tell you I played a lot of one-on-one. I played a lot of one-on-one, like against my friends that can play. Like that's how if you again within the 5-on-5 concept, you're matched up one-on-one. You gotta be. It's all about winning your matchup.
Yeah.
And so I played a lot of one-on-one and learning how to use a quick first step or just different nuances to gain an advantage because I've never been tall, and never will be tall. So I had to use different variations of ways to finish over somebody, under somebody, teardrop, floaters, step backs, changing speeds, changing directions. Doing like being able to do the same crossover in 3 different ways. And then whenever I tell kids that, they're like, "Wait, how do you do that?" Well, it's just based on how you based on the speed.
Yeah.
Depending on how they come across your frame determines whether I'm gonna go quick with the crossover, I'm gonna slow it down, or I'm gonna kind of drag it out.
Right.
So it's just different ways to just kind of manipulate.
We're getting real nerdy on this episode, but
it's again like
basketball junkies, man. Y'all know what it is.
We are, and so it's then kind of watching you guys grow up and do it, and seeing that, all right, well, okay, if I can impart in my own brothers this way, well, let me see if I can impart it to somebody who doesn't look like me, or who's not my brother or family. So I would say that was the genesis, us having Coach Hamlin's camp, and
in the family room,
family room
defensive
different slides,
we would play one-on-one on the Fisher Price hoop in 21.
Playing
and it was
in the house. And it was like we were playing like bro. We had
like dudes,
it got heated.
It was a workout.
It got heated. Nah, for real. Like we be
workout.
sweating, putting holes in the wall. And Maya, do you want to know how like we can learn how to dribble? We're dribbling with the ball that doesn't really bounce back up.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's like real life.
We're here like boom, boom, boom. Like we gotta get. Get past
we all train, right? And these kids will ask us, or parents will, how do we become better ball? You gotta dribble every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I don't care if it's like air dribbling or with a little
on the
Fisher
chair.
Price ball. Like you have to dribble something.
15, 20 minutes a day.
That's it.
That's all you need. You don't need to work. You don't need to dribble for an hour. Now I'm gonna tell you a quick story because I know they used to see me do this. But so there's a park across the street from my house, Haley Smith Park. And, so I would literally, to work on my ball handling, I would do one move around the whole outside of the court, like sideline, baseline. So if I messed up one time, I'd start over.
Yeah.
If I cross half court, then I start back at half court.
Yeah.
So it'd be in and out. It'd be in and out cross. So normally I would really work on. What I really wanted to work on the most was behind the back. So I would do a combination between behind, right, or between behind cross. And I'm just working on different variations of it because that was one thing that I felt like was a weakness of mine when I was younger. So I said, all right, let me get my left hand stronger, but 2, let me work on these combination moves and speed it up. But I would literally go all around the court, and I knew the only time I would mess up is if I stood up.
Yeah.
So it taught me the discipline to keep my shoulders even the whole time through. Now, was it tiring? Yes, but it helped also build muscle in my forearms
Right.
to where, even now to this day, I still have a good handle. But, again, that's not something that I had to do. I could have probably did that stationary for 15, 20 minutes and been okay, but no, I wanted to push myself by doing it on the move
Right.
and going all the way around. I wanted to challenge myself. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to working out is what are you doing to challenge yourself outside of your comfort zone?
Right.
It doesn't have to be long.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
It kills me when I see kids in the gym for 3 hours and they haven't done one move full speed.
Yeah.
And here's what today's generation does. They walk in the gym with slides or, Yeezys or whatever, have their speaker, blasting music, foam rolling, like they're about to go hard. That's the thing that kills me.
Right.
They're foam rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like they're about to go hard. And then they get out there,
Just going through the motions.
moves at half speed,
Working on their fillet layups. And I'm just
doing that for an hour and a half.
I'm like, bro,
Talking to their boy who comes in the gym.
torch you, man.
Yeah, so let's talk about your first real coaching experience, right? I think that was that the AAU team in Greensboro?
No, it was my first coaching experience was at Smith High School. If you look at organized, well, I did coach a young team. It's funny, majority of those kids ended up playing either. It was a co-ed team at the Y when I first got to ENT.
Right.
Over the Higgs Taylor Y. So some of those kids ended up playing Division I, Division II basketball on boys and girls side. That was my first experience with my boy TK. But I'd say my first real coaching experience was at Ben L. Smith High School in Greensboro.
Shout out to Smith.
Shout out Smith High School. Boys and girls had a really good state run this year. Both of them lost in the Sweet 16. Tough one. But so my boy Ashton, I'm actually at this time I'm throwing parties still. I'm finishing my degree at A&T.
I think the executive team.
Shout out to
Hey, that's a cold thing.
No, they had the Mario
Who came up
shirt.
with that? Who came up with that? The executive.
I gotta give that might be between Chris and Robbie
That's
as far
hard.
as the origin of that name. But so we're throwing a party. Shout out to my man Jeff too. I know he was involved with it too. So
No doubt. What up, Jeff?
it's a grad party, and so my boy's like, look, man. Shout out to Ashton Jeffries. He was the head coach, and he was a counselor at Smith High School. So, yo, man, I need your help. So I said, all right, cool. I said, what you doing? So I'm coaching varsity. I said, okay. Never tells me the gender.
Wow.
You'll see why that matters shortly. So he said, yo, man, so come out on Monday. We got practice at like 4. I said, cool. So I come out, hanging out. So I walk into the gym. Well, I knock on the door because it's locked. So him and my boy Will are there. So I'm like, yo, what's up, man? And I look and I see it's girls. I'm like, girls? Wait, you coach girls? I'm like, okay. At this point, when I'm 24, 25, now, mind you, look, if some of the girls at ANC could go, but still not giving girls basketball the respect that they probably deserve, right? And I'm like, yo, I can't stand girls basketball, man. They miss layups, they don't dunk,
Right.
Typical.
You can't say that now.
Yeah.
But at that moment in time, I was like, all right, let's see how this works out. So then they had this point guard. Her name was Ashley DeBose, and she has a handle. I'm talking about that thing's on a string. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, you got something right with. So then I meet LaKendra. Kendra's like a 6-foot wing.
Which is tall for women's basketball, especially in high school.
Right. So she played the 3-4.
On my team, that was tough.
Right.
Facts. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I fell in love with like those kids, man. And,
Yeah.
I've been coaching girls basketball ever since, man. Like we ended up making it to states that year.
Wow.
First time in like years. We ended up losing in the second round to the eventual state champions in West Charlotte that year. They had 9 Division I. No, they had 8 Division I kids.
It's crazy.
Literally 8 Division I kids. Some went to West Virginia, FAMU, Louisville. One went to Virginia Tech. Like they were loaded.
Yeah.
They beat the brakes off us. But for me, it was eye opening to see that level of basketball and that there are girls that can really play on that level. So then I said, all right, well, my at the time, my one of my best friends, Melvin Hagee, shout out to Mel. Mel just won a state championship this year too. So we're actually roommates. So now we get the opportunity to coach at Smith again. So it's me, Ashley, Will, and Mel. Here we are, 24, 25-year-old guys who really changed the landscape of basketball in Greensboro.
Yeah.
We kind of brought a new, exciting style. We were young enough where the girls could relate to us. And a lot of the coaches at that time, they weren't really rocking us because we were different.
Yeah.
Like, we were the type of coaches that were like, that it would actually had a one-on-one. Oh, put a ball. Hey, go at her.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, kill her. You know, all the things that you shouldn't really say.
Right.
When all we had to do was just call, hey, spread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Spread is the same mindset. So instead of calling spread, hey, yo, hey,
Get out the way, man.
get out the way. Hey, do her. So, you know, that kind of brought on a little kind of heat with us to some of the older coaches.
Right.
You know, on like the girls' side, because we taught a lot of one-on-one basketball, but
And girls, I mean, maybe it's changed, but they're not known for like trash talk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more of like a playground.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, pickup mindset and women, at least back then, they
Yeah.
weren't playing pickup with each other like that.
Right.
They would play with dudes, but
Right.
so it's probably also like, you know, seen as bad etiquette, I guess.
Well, that's the
Even
thing.
though, you know, it's basketball, man.
Well, so that's what I thought until I started coaching at Smith High School. Man, we played against teams that were just predominantly white teams that would talk trash.
Really.
Yeah, like there's kids from Northwest Gifford. Like they were one of the top teams in like the city at the time. They were really, really well coached.
Is that where Sam went? Cofer?
Same with the Northern.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so we really exposed. We actually beat Sam, and then to go to the to the Little Florida championship.
Shout out to Sam. And
So we actually
Amanda.
boxed and won her, right? So coach had no idea we were gonna do that. Sam was frustrated. Like we were really frustrated. So we actually, I'm 2-0 against Sam. But Sam was
She's great, man.
great. I think she's a sheriff now, right?
It's just Amanda.
Amanda is.
Yeah.
So Amanda played for me.
Yeah.
AAU.
Sam is like she's like a doctor.
That's
She's
right,
super
that's right.
smart.
That's right.
Shout out. She went to Elon. Same class as us.
So shout out to the Kofers. But I mean that really changed my whole outlook on girls basketball. And we linked up with Delaney Rudd. Shout out to Delaney, Eddie Odom, Kavon Ingram, Sam Warren. So those guys from like the Phoenix. And on the AAU side, with that, going back to what you said, you know, they kind of took us under like their wing. They kind of taught us how to be coaches.
Right.
You know, they you know, and then playing and coaching with them on the AAU side, now I get a chance to see on a national level what girls basketball looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very athletic, very competitive, and very skilled.
Right.
I mean, and that opened my eyes to a whole new mindset of how we could build and develop kids.
Yeah.
And you know, we ended up winning a Little Four championship at Smith. during our time.
What was the Little Four?
Is that like a
again?
district or regional?
So Little Four was a Christmas tournament that's held within the city of Greensboro
Yeah.
for like bragging rights.
I think I went.
Who like
I
the
went
best,
to one of them
team?
joints.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It was great.
No, it was a great atmosphere, man. I mean, so you had a whole city in there outside of Dudley. At that time, Dudley wasn't playing in it.
Yeah.
The boys team, they were always that time they were playing on a national schedule. Boys team was really really good, but you know, it's just to kind of see some of these kids kind of grow up in that area and develop. You know, on not only on the men's side but on the like women's side. See Harry Giles come through there, and you know, guys like PJ Hairston, who played at Carolina.
Shout out to Christian Hairston.
Christian, shout out to Christian.
Greensboro Day.
Some really really good talent come through that.
Are they related? No, this is random.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, they're not related. But yeah, you know, I mean, so then we now transition, right? So I leave Smith, get an opportunity to go play ball at this open run at UNCG called Noon Ball Run. So Noon Ball Run was created by a gentleman named Doc Martinek. Fun fact about him: he was a college teammate of Phil Jackson.
Wow.
Nice.
So Doc is an
Where
old
did
guy.
Phil? Where did Phil go?
He went to North Dakota.
I was gonna say some random like
Yeah, it's like North Dakota
Midwest.
State.
Where he was just smoking
Wyoming
weed.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I believe it's North Dakota State or something. But you know, Doc is an old school Chicago guy, tough, and he, you know, one of the best people I've ever met. So when in that run, you had NBA guys in there like Rusty LaRue, like PJ Tucker would come play with us. So like a lot of my same boys like Will and Mel, like we all kind of got in with that like that group. So a bunch of professors, and then young guys that went to UNCG. So it was a private run where there I ended up meeting who's now passed away, Randy Tuggle.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. So Randy, one year, asked me, "Hey man, what are you doing for coaching this year?" I said, "I don't know. Why? What's up?" I pretty much kind of figured that I wanted to kind of do something different. You know, I've been at Smith for 5 years, coached with like my boys, Will, who was ended up being the head coach at the time after Ashton stepped down. So, you know, I wanted something different.
Right.
So, you know, I wanted to see if I could get my thoughts out on a higher level.
Right.
So Randy, you know, I'll say this: every coaching job that I got, I didn't apply for.
Wow. Relationship.
That's all it was.
Relationship.
Every last one of them. The one when Ashton came to me about coaching him at Smith, Ashton was my boy.
Y'all came to you.
Yeah. Randy.
Yeah.
He saw my work with like the guards at Smith, and the kids that I worked with. I even worked with one of his guards, so he was very interested in in me coming on as a coach for him. Plus, he knew that I coached AAU as well. So from that moment forward, we ended up kind of forging a relationship where he was like, "Look, I want to bring you on. I can't pay you a whole lot, but what I can guarantee you is an opportunity and experience to grow and develop as a coach."
Yep.
Boom. Went and had lunch with him, and I was sold. Went and saw the team. Had a really good pet player. Her name was Bianca. Bianca was amazing. Like, she was really a Division I player, but was at Greensboro College, a D3 school. And the cool thing about that opportunity was I was still able to coach AAU.
Yeah.
Due to NCAA rules where D3 coaches can still coach club teams. I taught in the school system at the same time, so it didn't conflict.
Yeah.
Because like my day started like 7 and ended at 2:30.
Yeah.
Normally our practices were like 3:34, so
That's perfect.
timing was like perfect. So I mean, I can't thank anybody but God for that.
Right.
I mean, it's all God driven and engineered. So end up in my first tournament, me and Randy go and recruit. He was like, "Hey man, who's this kid here?" I said, "Oh, that's such and such, such and such." And then all these different coaches would come up to me, and he's like, "You know all these people?" And if you know anybody,
One thing
that-
about Walt, man.
He knows everybody.
One thing, Walt could be in freaking Yugoslavia, and he's gonna know somebody. They're gonna know him. Like that's just a given.
yeah, again, man, I don't chase money. I chase relationships because it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah.
So kind of going into that story, make a long story short, after we come back to the campus, he's like, yo, man, I want to make you my recruiting coordinator. Now, mind you, so on the staff is me, the now famous Jennifer King.
Yeah.
Shout out Jennifer, who I know
She was on
the pod.
episode something. I don't know the number, but another dope
Y'all know
episode.
y'all know the name.
Yeah, another dope episode.
She's a legend. And you know, one of my good friends as well, man. Somebody who I respect, and I'm proud of her journey because I know where she came from.
Yeah.
Because I was there with her.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
That's how I met her.
right?
She had a dress.
Yeah. So you know, it's kind of funny seeing us all kind of grow and develop.
I know,
How
that's
things come
crazy.
full circle, man. And you know, my time at Greensboro was great. I wouldn't change it for the world. We ended up winning championship, going to the NCAA tournament. Had a chance at run with Sydney Moss, Randy Moss's daughter.
Yeah.
I remember-
it really wasn't fair.
I remember watching that game, man. I was super excited for y'all.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience.
I was watching it. It was before. I think it was my junior year, 2014. Was that when y'all won it?
2015,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just super excited, man. Because again, I've seen the whole journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go there and work out
Right.
with Walt, you know, during the off season. So I was able to meet Coach Randy, obviously Jennifer, and some of the girls too. So was definitely rooting for y'all, man. But
Yeah.
that was a joy to see y'all get over the hump and win that.
Yeah, so one thing that I can't leave out about my time at Greensboro was that probably the best time for me as just a coach and a fan of my brothers is I got a chance to see both my brothers play in college that I did not get a chance to see in high school.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Greensboro College was in the same conference as Ferrum,
Right,
so we played y'all twice.
right. So it was good to kind of see. Then I got a chance to see them again when we played Maryville. Y'all played Maryville after us.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which was cool. Now
High
all the way
Point
to
came to
see
the High Point game, Wake Forest
Wake.
game.
You know, it's so you know I missed a lot of their games in high school, which you know for me like that was one part of my sacrifices that I you know if I had a chance to say that if I had any regrets during that time was missing out on their development. You know, I give a lot of credit to Brandon for kind of filling that void and
Yeah,
you know
no doubt.
giving them a lot of confidence and you know a lot of game that you know I kind of passed on and you know I would talk to them on the phone to kind of give them you know, some tips on what I see you know from different film
Right.
you know that I got from Brandon or Dad, but you know it was really cool to see them and you know even in like the conference tournament you know I watched you guys play in the multiple championship games.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
you guys came up short, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just cool, man. I was just proud, man. You know, Marshall went through a lot, and with his story, you know, having knee injury in high school, and you know, kind of going through those confidence issues, but then realizing like after he graduated, like, oh,
Yeah.
I could really play.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is what we been telling you from jump. You could have been cooking like this the whole time.
Right.
You know, and that's
He
the one thing.
showed flashes.
Yeah, he
Senior
did.
year for sure.
But-
Junior year too.
Yeah.
In practice,
practice.
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In practice, but I was playing with Hamid and Chris Wine and JJ. So no diss. Nah, it is disrespect. But I love y'all though. Y'all my guys.
But I will say this though, you know, just seeing my brother's journey and seeing somebody that I felt like could have been more aggressive or assertive in college. This is my advice to kids. Anybody who is listening right now, understand you can change a coach's mind. Do not think because of where you're at right now in your process that you can't change the coach's mind. It's gonna take some work. It's a process, but if you develop certain skills and abilities that you can show glimpses of in practice, that right there can earn you some playing time. I've coached kids where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he really wants it. And then you just ask him one day, look, I just want you to go out here and play free. I don't care what happens. Just go out there and hoop. And that kid ended up turning into one of our better players. But now, does it take a coach sometimes to kind of put that batter in your pack? At times, yeah, but there are times when you can do that yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let where your situation is or where you're at in the rotation affect how you play. Keep going hard. Like, there's guys right now in the NBA that were in the G League last year that were overseas that were on 10 days that got multiple 10-day contracts and now they're playing for the rest of the season.
Right.
I saw a dude.
I mean,
he
it's
got
crazy.
he got 3 years.
Yeah.
He had like 10 days and signed a 3-year deal.
If you look at it, if you
that's
go
wild.
if you go on an NBA roster and look at where some of these people are from, like schools,
Yeah.
it's not high major.
McNeese State,
It's
Mercer.
Austin Peay's, the Abilene Christians of the world, the Lehighs. If you can play, they'll find you, but you got to believe in yourself first.
Yep.
I saw. Like, my only advice is, man, don't worry about where you're at right now. Go change that coach's mind by how you practice, by how you approach the game. By taking the initiative yourself to get shots up, the right way, not just shooting just to be shooting.
Yeah.
But actually looking at your offense and seeing where you can be effective, getting minutes on the defensive end.
Yep.
Like, it's so many ways for a player to earn time.
And impact the game.
There's so many ways to impact. There's 1,000 ways to score. There's 1,000 ways to impact the game on defense.
I do have a question for you though, because I've told some parents and some kids that I train, or just parents that ask me for different advice.
Mm-hmm.
How many players before the season, during the season, come to you and say, "Coach, what do you see as my role on this team, or what should my role be?" How often does that happen?
It doesn't happen that much at all. Now,
I thought so.
so I'm glad you brought that up. So I do something different probably from anybody in like the country. I define my team's roles in front of everybody. So I tried it last year and I wanted to see how it worked. And I want to do something different. I want to be honest. I want to be open. I want you guys to know where you all stand right now. So at the beginning of each season, and the reason why I did this is because I've been in different programs where I didn't see this happening,
Yeah.
and I saw a lot of issues.
Yep.
I've played on teams.
Because, and what it is I'm gonna tell you what it is. At the end of the day, to kind of sum up me, the reason why I don't have a problem talking to parents is because I don't mind confrontation. But all confrontation does not have to be
Bad.
combative or bad. Like, it can be positive.
Right.
And it can be, for a lot of kids, it can be a relief that, okay, I'm glad that we had this conversation. So what I did was, we at the end of practice, in our off-season workouts, and then going into our season, I defined roles then and there. Of course, kids know, well, this kid's the top gun,
Yeah.
right? Like, you kind of know the pecking order,
Right.
but that's not the problem.
Yeah.
It's everybody else in between and where they fall.
Yeah.
That's where the gray area is.
And the parents thinking that
My
their
kid's
kid is
here,
here.
and but really,
Yeah.
they're here.
No, you're not there.
No. And there's nothing wrong with not being here. Now, so I go down the list, I go through all of them. And we talk about, things that I feel like they do well, things that I want them to improve on, and how many shots I feel like they can get right now within our offense. What their role is on defense. That goes from our point guard and Joy all the way down to our big and Sarah. And I tell Joy, you got to be a tone setter on both sides of the ball. All right, we go as you go as far as setting the tone and the pace, because you're our primary ball handler. But with that comes a lot of responsibility. I'm going to be hard on you, all right? Because if you're going to play for me, then if by the time you leave me as a point guard, you should be able to play for somebody else, and they should be able to hand you the keys on day one, and you be ready.
That's big. That's big, and I think that's something that a lot of kids and parents don't understand. Like the way that Walt is, especially, he's not only preparing you to be successful in today's game that's coming up. You've told me you had a goal to play, Division I, Division II, play in college, whatever it is. So I'm coaching you so that when you are a freshman, the learning curve isn't that big. Like you're gonna be ready to play. So that's big because I think a lot of coaches who are winning as well, right? They're doing well winning, but they're not necessarily preparing their players. They're not winning and preparing their players for the next level. You can win because of a system or whatever and still not prepare your players to play. So I think that's a big point because it's something that I think is overlooked.
No, it is, because think about it. Like they have a transfer portal with like 1,000 kids in a year. I mean, if there's 1,000 kids
that's crazy.
that aren't happy for whatever reason. Some of it could be broken promises. Well, my AU coach told me that I was going to do this. Well, he's not here anymore, is he?
Yeah.
So instead of them going through that adversity and actually earning their keep, I'm out. So my thing is to try to combat that. That means that we got to make sure that wherever you go is the right place that you're going to be happy for 4 years, right? In some cases 5 with all this COVID year stuff.
Right.
But my point is, when you define roles and set expectations early, you don't get a lot of pushback late.
No.
And so I try to make sure that
That's in life.
yeah. So again,
talked about it earlier.
and these are life lessons. This isn't just about basketball. I know we're talking about that, but and so I go by the 3 C's that we all talk about. Being a good communicator, being coachable, which is very, very key and hard for a lot of people to do. Like not being a know-it-all, but being able to take criticism and apply it, and not take it as and not take it so personal.
Right.
And then most importantly, being competitive. Like in life, like you gotta be willing to compete with other people.
It's a skill, man.
It is. It is a skill, but there's so much entitlement in today's society where, social media gives off one type of fake reality that people can now dive into to kind of get away from their real reality of that life can be hard.
Right.
And that, things are tough. So I mean that's their escape, but at some point you got to come back to reality, to the real world, and realize, hey, you still got to deal with this issue. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to steal this person's minutes, or you want to earn this person, or you feel like this person is not as good as you, but improve it.
Compete.
Improve it.
Yeah.
What would you attribute to your championship culture, and what advice would you give other coaches who are kind of in that early stage of trying to build a culture, to win a championship, not just build a culture, but like a winning culture?
I'd say first, you gotta have a vision and a plan, and I really attribute that to being inspired by other programs, other coaches that have been mentors for me. And understanding what it means to win. And I'd say, in everything that you do, you're gonna learn something. So in every coaching situation that I've been in, sometimes you learn what to do and what not to do. And I think it's important that you take those experiences, and you're able to find like-minded people that are willing to fulfill your vision, to have an administration that's willing to fulfill your vision, and kids that are willing to learn and grow and develop under your vision. Having a supportive family structure and foundation matters. Like, you know, like my wife, you know, shout out to my wife Brittany, and to my kids, for taking me for who I am, you know, and with that comes sometimes sacrifices. That means less time with them and more time invested in my program, but not making them the back burner, you know. But you know, them understanding that, look, this is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
When you know, decided to say, I do, you know. I mean, because again, you know, we all come with baggage. We all come with our experiences, you know, and we all have visions and dreams. So, you know, the fact that, you know, my wife is willing to see these dreams out with me on a grander level is definitely key. What advice I have to different coaches that are going through this is to be true to yourself and set expectations. Like, one thing is you can't be a salesman when you try to pitch, especially the kids that like you're trying to recruit, or even, you know, there is some marketing and some type of salesmanship involved, you know, for people to buy into you as a person. But, you know, I'll say this: one of the first things I did was, with all the kids that I acquired, was I went out and I had lunch with them. I wanted to get to know them first.
Right.
Man,
So I wanted to be more relational than transactional. And I think that's really helped these kids buy into me, and vice versa, because they know that I care. They know that, you know, the type of culture that I'm trying to create is family centered. So, you know, getting to know them and their families, I think is very, very key into, you know, getting kids to buy into you and what your vision is.